All right, guys, we are here with the one and only Keith Brown of Tampa Bay Damage. So he's out here doing some drills, and I thought I would grab him. I've known Keith for too long. Yeah,
15 years,
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Back when Keith wasn't pro and wasn't cool. No, you're probably cool back then too. Yeah. But I thought for you guys, it'd be really cool just to do a quick interview with him and just kind of get his story and go from there. So, what is kind of your background in paintball, and how is it that you got to where you're at now?
Yep, so I pretty much started out when I was 11 years old. Just started as like a Christmas gift, you know what I'm saying, with the friends in the neighborhood, and we went out and played in the woods. You get started like that, you get hooked, and then next one moved on to like just a local field, playing a little bit, then you get picked up on a team, and then it's just on from there, you know what I mean? Then you just can't stop.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I remember I went and played, and I think I was scared the first time that I played. My dad made me go.
Right.
And I don't even know what it was that hooked me. It's just something about it. I was like, I need to go again.
Right.
And something about it, it's like, I can't explain it. It's like a love-hate relationship.
It's I guess it's just the mechanics and just the way it flows, and you get out a little bit of aggression, but at the same time it's controlled.
Right.
So it's a good time. It's just, you can't beat it, Right, absolutely. Well, while we have you here, what would you say, like I've done all my drill videos and things like that. These guys have seen my progression up to pro with the Kings and with the Saints. What would you say is the biggest, if you could give like one or two tips to a player that's like, I want to make that jump to pro, what is it that you would say is the biggest thing that they need to do? Well, for one, it's looking at the outlook of everything, you see the guys, they're very fast and stuff, but all they're focused on is cardio. I think one of the things that gets lost is you don't need to be big and strong and whatnot for paintball. You just need to have a lot of cardio. And I think something that gets a little bit forgotten about is, like you said, the drills and stuff like that. Paintball is like any other sport. It's repetition. And I think some people get lost in, thought of thinking, oh, it's, something crazy like this or that, or you're getting taught something special. Like, no, there's nothing special that happens. It's just hard work like anything else. Repetition is going to get you there to where you feel comfortable with your snapshots or running and shooting. There's a bunch of different techniques to paintball, so you just need to perfect it.
Yeah, and I know that you say that you hit the gym and all that too. Like, the cardio is important, obviously. Like, all right, if you guys don't know, Keith plays the snake, which is like one of the most, I like the center because I can go up and then I can take a knee and I'm good. Now, I actually really like the aggression in the middle, but like just that cardio and being able to do that repetition like you said. But in the gym, I know that you do work out with weights.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is it that you kind of focus more on, or is there something, or is it just kind of like I'm feeling weak in my legs? Like what's kind of your mindset?
So I kind of go through like a basic, I would say I just call it basic because it's a basic way of training, as far as like you isolate whatever muscle group that you're going after, whether it's legs for the one day, then you recover, rest them, and move on to arms, chest, stuff like that. So core is very, very important in paintball. And paintball, I think, is probably the most important thing, is being able to fold up in those little spots and get small, and hip mobility. That's a very, very another important thing with paintball. And just kind of like separating it as you go, and then not overdoing it as well. So knowing your limits is a very, very important thing in working out in general, and knowing your body. Like if you feel like you're starting to hurt yourself, it's not you're gonna keep working out and it's gonna fix itself in the workout. Maybe over time you do need to work it out to relieve the stress or pain that you're going through, but just in that moment, like if you're feeling a hamstring injury and you keep doing whatever the hell you're gonna do, you keep doing deadlifts, it's gonna go pop. You know what I'm saying? So just understanding your body and what you can withstand.
Okay, all right. And not to make this too long, I know he wants to get out and do drills too. So what would you say if you could change one thing in the NXL? Like I don't know how you feel about like the pro and semi-pro flip that happens or whatever. If you could change one thing in the NXL, what would you change?
Like one good thing.
Or two. You can't narrow it down.
I'm just trying to think of like the overview, because for me, I think what's missing is the want to get to the very, very, very top. And as you know, Greg, like, you know, every guy doesn't get paid, you know, at the top level, but I think what would bring more people to the sport would be seeing that people get paid. It's not like, oh, he's getting paid so much. It's just knowing that, you know, when I do get there, I do have something to fall back on just a little bit for the effort that I put in.
Right.
And I think that gets a little bit lost in transition. I don't know whether that comes from the companies or where it comes from exactly, because right now it's just coming from like an owner who's pretty much doing it as a write-off,
right,
or whatever for their companies or whatever they have going on. So I think if something could happen in the future where it would either come from a sponsor or the league, but I don't think the league, you know, makes enough to compensate every player for something like that. But if they had something in the base to where it's like, okay, well, every guy, no matter what, no matter who it is, every guy that comes gets $1,000, and we're just talking about, you know, as small as small, and that's every guy getting the same amount, and then people knowing that, you know, at least, you know, at the end of the year I get $5,000 cash from what I put into pro paintball. You know what I'm saying? So I wish something like that would come about, just to kind of give like the guys D2, you know, they're really starting to get into it and they're like, man, like this is awesome, like I really love this sport, but how can I like benefit really from this with real life happening as well? You know what I'm saying? So I think something like that being put in place would be awesome.
Absolutely. I did think of one more. I'm gonna throw this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I asked Mouse about this too.
Okay, yeah.
What's your take on pod limits?
Pod limits. I say 5 pods would be like the perfect amount, because then you get the, you know, whether you can hold or whatnot.
Do you think it would help speed the game up? Do you think it's gonna slow it down actually?
So it could get to a point like beforehand, which Mouse will tell you because I've seen him do it, was he got into a spot, but he dropped the pod off the brake and he wasn't able to kill the guy because he didn't have enough firepower to do it. It wasn't that the shot wasn't good, it's you sometimes need a little bit more paintball than 3 or 4. You know, to throw out there. So I think having 2 less could slow it down, because that's what ended up happening. We ended up having like a 6-7 minute point to where he's like, dude, he came in the pit, he goes, I could have shot those dudes like in the first 30 seconds, but I dropped the pod. So he's like, I had to really like think about what I was doing. So, and, you know, for me, I think there's a certain amount, and I think 5 would be the perfect amount. Maybe you could give one guy one, you know,
like you're allowed to walk out with 5, but you could
can still share,
because Jason still wants to shoot 17 pods.
You know, so technically, you know, in war, you're gonna have one guy who's gonna have more ammunition and he's got a different job. So yeah, I wouldn't mind giving the support role guy, you know, an extra pod or whatever. Okay. I think that would be cool.
All right. And yeah, Keith does do clinics and all that. So where can they find you?
You can find me on my Instagram, Swaggy. That's 2 G's, SWAGGYK23. And so yeah, check me out on Instagram. I'm on TikTok and whatnot, but you know, you can find me there. I'm not really on there too much, but you message me if you're a TikToker. All right.
Any shout outs for sponsors or anything?
Just Tampa Bay Damage for now. We're still figuring out things for the year.
Okay.
So.
All right. I'll get the insider. Don't worry about it. I'll post about it later.
That's right.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right. If you guys have any questions, hit him up. Keith is a really down-to-earth dude. That's something that I really appreciate. And even like me coming up in pro, I was like, I wanted to be that guy that anyone can come talk to. Now, what's funny with Keith is I also know that when I played against him, he also wants to blow my head off.
That's very true.
You know, but then afterwards we can joke about it. You know,
we're competitors to the max. That's why we're.
But that
is why you get to the top. Too. Yeah. You have to be willing to be the most ruthless competitor when you're on the field.
Yep.
I'm off the field, be a nice guy.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was Ken from the Vipers was like, I don't care if it's my mom on the other side of the field. When I'm on the field,
bunkering,
I'm going for it. Off the field, I'll be your best friend.
Right.
So yeah, definitely hit Keith up. I know sometimes you do some specialty runs of headbands and all that. So I don't know of anything. This isn't me.
All kinds of cool things coming this year.
Yeah. Support Keith. Say hi to him at events. All that stuff. So thank you, man. Again, I appreciate it.
Of course, Greg.
All right, guys, you have a good one. And as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.